Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg apologized to leaders at the European Parliament for not doing enough to protect user data. Lawmakers questioned Zuckerberg about Facebook's role in the Cambridge Analytica scandal and the misuse of personal data. However, Zuckerberg angered the parliamentarians by dodging their questions. US President Donald Trump has said there is a very substantial chance a summit with North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un next month may not happen. Trump, while sitting for critical talks with his South Korean counterpart, said that if it doesn't happen, maybe it will happen later. He said the North must meet conditions for the summit to go ahead. The North said it may cancel the summit if the US insists on it giving up nuclear weapons unilaterally. Trump is scheduled to meet Kim Jong-un in Singapore on June 12. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has said that the United States is still working towards holding a historic summit with North Korea on June 12. Pompeo was speaking after President Donald Trump met with the leader of South Korea and told the reporters that his face-to-face with North Korea's Kim Jong-un in Singapore could be delayed. Pompeo met with Kim twice in Pyongyang, becoming the highest-ranking U.S. official to do so since 2000. Dozens of journalists from China, Russia, the United States and Britain arrived in Wonsan, a coastal city of North Korea, to cover the dismantling of their nuclear test site. Days ago, Kim Jong-un had confirmed that North Korea will dismantle its nuclear site. This has now opened their doors to foreign journalists to witness the closure of the facility on Mount Montab. North Korea has not divulged the schedule to the journalists, though. The closure of the testing facility marks the end of the world's last active underground testing site. High-level inter-Korean talks will likely resume after June 25th following the completion of joint US-South Korea military drills, a South Korean government spokesman said in Washington. North Korea had cancelled the talks with South Korea over joint exercises between the United States and South Korea. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has said that the U.S. is confident about a common approach that can be developed with European nations on Iran. He said that the changes Washington has demanded that Iran make are not difficult to implement. Pompeo told reporters at the State Department, and I quote, "I am confident that there is a set of overlapping values and interests here that will drive us to the same conclusion about the need to respond to the Islamic Republic of Iran's threats to the world." Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has met with a Cuban delegation in Moscow ahead of an economic forum. A delegation headed by Cuban Vice President Ricardo Cabezas Ruiz will take part in St. Petersburg International Economic Forum opening on May 24th. Russia and Cuba have boosted their economic ties in the recent years. The United States and Mexico are cooperating with Cuba in the investigation into the causes that led to a Boeing 737 crash last week in Havana. 11 people were killed in the accident. It has been reported that the United States would help in the probe of Cuban authorities because the air tragedy involved a Boeing aircraft. Cuba has already identified 50 bodies of over 100 passengers aboard the aircraft. At least 6 people have been injured after a private jet from the US skidded off the runway during landing at Trum-Korea International Airport in Honduras. The plane had taken off from Austin in Texas. Dramatic visuals show the wreckage of the white Gulfstream jet. Passengers have been rushed to nearby hospital for treatment, though there are no reports of deaths so far. Security forces of Burkina Faso have reportedly killed 3 suspected terrorists in the early morning raid conducted in its capital. The city has been hit by several Islamist militants attacks in recent years. Now, according to the security forces, a special intervention unit conducted the 2-day-long operation to knock out suspected terrorists. 5 people have been killed and 22 injured after a Houthi missile fired in a Yemeni city of Marib. The city of Marib falls under control of the internationally recognized government of President Abdurrabbu Mansour Hadi. Hadi's government has been battling the Iran-aligned Houthi movement since 2015. Protests against French President Emmanuel Macron's social policies turned violent. Protesters hurled stones at police, broke shop windows and set ablaze a paper statue of Macron. Officers resorted to tear gas shelling to disperse the agitators. Over 16,000 people joined the demonstrations and at least 17 people have been detained during these scuffles. Macron wants to cut over 1 lakh public sector jobs to help streamline public services, reduce debt and create new opportunities. Students of Moscow State University marched to protest against a World Cup fan zone on the varsity campus. Students argue that loud soccer fans will disturb academic studies during the exams and will also harm nature. Some students carried in hands branches of the trees that had to be cut down to make a space for construction. However, authorities say that attention from all over the world will only be good for the recognition of the university. Gambian president has collected 1.5 billion euros of support from international donors in Brussels to meet the 2.4 billion euro budgets needed for his national development plan. The European Union and the Gambian government organized a conference in Brussels to discuss international support of the Gambia in its democratic transition since authoritarian ex-president Yahya Jammeh was ousted from power in early 2017. The Brussels conference gathered delegations from 43 countries and 10 international organizations who stated their support to Barrow's NDP and democratic transition. The European Union has agreed to start free trade talks with Australia and New Zealand. The move comes in a drive to forge new alliances as trade tensions with the United States increase. EU is the third largest trade partner of both Australia and New Zealand. The EU forecasts that ambitious and comprehensive agreements could boost its exports to the two countries. At least 30 Syrian army troops and Iranian-backed militiamen have been killed in so-called Islamic State near Palmyra. Islamic State fighters reportedly attacked a military outpost near Palmyra in eastern Syria. The attack came a day after government forces drove the jihadists out of their last enclave in southern Damascus. Islamic State has twice seized Palmyra during Syria's civil war and destroyed priceless artifacts. One person has sustained injuries after police in Florida's Panama City engaged in a standoff with an active shooter. Police has claimed that the shooter fired multiple shots after finally being pinned in his home. A resident has shared a video that shows people crouching behind cars as various rounds of gunshots can be heard in the near distance. Two more people have died from Ebola in Democratic Republic of Congo. As per reports, Ebola outbreak has killed 27 since April in Congo. Congo's health ministry has announced that 6 new confirmed cases of the virus. Vaccination campaigns have entered second day. The World Health Organization has said 33 people received the first vaccinations. A federal court in Virginia has ruled in favor of transgender teen Gavin Grimm in suit against Gloucester School Board. A U.S. judge has ruled that federal law protects a transgender student from being forced to use separate restroom facilities. U.S. court has rejected a bid by the school to dismiss the lawsuit filed by student Gavin Grimm against it. Thousands of residents flocked to an outlying island in Hong Kong to celebrate a Bun Festival. It is one of the oldest festivals in Hong Kong that started about a century ago after a deadly plague devastated the island. The festival features a parade with children dressed as deities floated on poles. This despite Hong Kong witnesses record-breaking temperatures of over 33 degrees Celsius. At least 10 people were injured in the first day of the traditional bullfighting festival in Peru at the weekend. The majority of injuries happened during an act called the Jala Toro, in which horsemen parade outside the stadium, pulling a group of bulls by ropes attached to their horns. Local health authorities have declared a state of green alert in nearby clinics. But despite the incidents, the popular festival will continue as usual until the end of the week. Heavy rains have lashed southwest China's Sichuan province of Monday and Tuesday, flooding streets and disrupting flights as thunderstorms continue to batter China. 15 flights were forced to land at nearby airports. On Monday, a total of 914 flights operated while 34 others were cancelled. Traffic police were dispatched to direct traffic in the flooded area, and sanitation workers were arranged to clear the roads. Residents were also evacuated by rescuers deployed. The volcano in Hawaii continues to wreak havoc. 3 lava fissures have erupted during an ongoing volcano outbreak in Hawaii's Lalipuna Gardens. A new lava flow erupting Kilauea volcano edged towards a geothermal power plant on Tuesday. Warehouse at the facility has been destroyed after the volcano entered a more violent phase. The state has pumped cold water into the wells and capped them with iron plugs. Colombian President Juan Manuel Santos hailed the swollen Trum-Korea River as evacuations of nearby residents nears 25,000 amidst fears of a nearby dam could burst. Colombia has ordered the evacuation of thousands of people living along the Trum-Korea River as construction problems at a hydroelectric dam prompted fears of massive flooding. The dam, which has not yet begun power generation, has cost nearly $4 billion to build and is meant to generate 17% of Colombia's electricity needs. A SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket carrying 2 US-German science satellites and 5 commercial communications satellites has blasted off from the central California coast. The mission is designed to detect the movement of Earth's water masses and changes in mass within the planet. The rocket lifted off from Vandenberg Air Force Base and arched over the Pacific Ocean west of Los Angeles as it headed towards the South Pole. At least 9 people have been killed and as many are critically injured during protests against Sterlite's industrial plant protest in India's Tamil Nadu. Protesters hurled stones and set government vehicles and public property on fire. Police resorted to firing and lathi charge as the situation went out of control. Protesters are calling for the closure of a copper smelter in the region. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Palaniswamy has ordered an inquiry into the event that led to the deaths. India's southern state Karnataka will get its second chief minister in a week as Janata Dal Secular's leader H.D. Kumaraswamy will take oath today. The post of deputy CM will go with JDS's ally Congress. Parameshwar of Congress will be sworn in as Kumaraswamy's deputy. Coalition partners The Congress and the JDS have also finalized the shape of the cabinet of the state's 34 ministries. 22 would go to the Congress and 12. Indian Sports Minister and an Olympic medalist Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore has a message and a challenge for India. The minister in a video drops to the floor of his office and does push-ups while talking without a pose. He urges everyone to shoot a video of their fitness secret and share it. Bollywood actress Tabu has joined the cast of Salman Khan and Priyanka Chopra starrer Bharat. The film's director Ali Abbas Zafar said, and I quote, "I have seen a huge fan of Tabu's work and always wish to work with her." Also starring Disha Patani, Bharat is scheduled for an Eid 2019 release.